Fueling can make or break your marathon, especially when you're climbing over 78,000 feet of elevation. Hello and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be taking you guys through my nutrition plan for the Pikes Peak Marathon. So tomorrow I am doing a 22-mile long run as like a race stimulation. So I'm going to be getting up into the higher mileage, but I'm not going to quite hit the 26 miles. That's going to be saved for race day. But I would like to try my nutrition plan, make sure things work for me, and kind of make adjustments between now and race day. So this is the middle of peak week. I'm going to be hitting my max miles this week, and then I'll start entering taper where my load is going to decrease a little bit. I'll still be getting high altitude runs in and time on feet, but not quite the high intensity that I've been leading up to for this point. So I just figured I would share with you guys what I plan to do, what I'm going to be trying out this weekend, and then I will let you know how it works out for me. I'm going to start by going over the numbers that are kind of recommended for each runner. These numbers were shared with me from a fellow runner who participated in a nutrition Zoom course last year before the Ascent. So the numbers I'm going to give are in a range, and it will vary depending on who you are. It's also not necessarily geared towards male or female. The first recommendation is for your sodium. You should be getting 300 to 500 milligrams per hour. You should be aiming to get around 250 calories in per hour. You should be aiming to eat 30 to 50 grams of carbs per hour. And you should be hydrating with 16 to 24 ounces of water per hour. So for me specifically, I'm gonna be aiming for closer to the 300 milligrams of sodium per hour. I'll probably be aiming closer to 200 calories per hour, and I'll probably be aiming closer to 30 grams of carbs per hour and 16 ounces of water. For my water, I did end up getting a new bladder that I'm going to be testing out tomorrow on my 22-mile run. About 50 ounces of water is held in this little bladder pack. I didn't have a bladder before because I never really ran super long distances, but now that I'm getting out on trails for even longer, I thought it was important to incorporate it. Ideally, I do prefer to avoid stopping at aid stations if necessary. Of course, I do keep them in my back pocket. So for example, if I were to drink 16 ounces of water per hour, that means this bladder is gonna get me through about 3 hours. If I'm estimating to finish the marathon in 8 to 9 hours, that means I'll need around 2 refills on top of what I bring. So I will probably end up having to stop at an aid station to get more water in my pack, but that's okay. For my sodium, I am going to be trying out these Electrolyte tablets. What's really nice is that it has vitamin D, calcium, magnesium, chloride, sodium, and potassium. So it's a well-rounded tablet. And also what I really like about this specific one is one capsule is a serving. So there's a few different options you can get as far as salt tabs. Some of them I was seeing is you had to take 3 to hit a certain number. I do like that per one capsule, I'm gonna get about 215 milligrams of sodium, which is just about the perfect amount because my BPN gels do have around 105 milligrams. One salt tab an hour plus 2 gels, I should be hitting right under 500 milligrams of sodium. Something else I'm gonna try out is this pickle juice. This has 470 milligrams of sodium. I'm not gonna have that many of these. I am gonna try it out because I do love pickles and I love pickle juice. So I'm thinking mid-run, this might actually be a very nice little treat for myself. So if I opt to do a bottle of this at maybe the halfway point, I won't do an electrolyte capsule. I'll kind of like save it for the other hour. I am trying it for the first time on my long run, so we'll see how it goes and if I want to incorporate it for race day. I will be using BPN gels for my race. Unfortunately, I am out for tomorrow's long run, so I'm not gonna have any on my long run tomorrow. I have been training with them this whole block, so I do know that they react well with my stomach, so I'm not quite as concerned with testing them out for tomorrow's long run. Each of those gels has around 100 calories, 105 milligrams of sodium, and 24 grams of carbs. Ideally, if I do 2 gels and 1 electrolyte pill, I should be hitting the numbers I would like to hit. I do know that I get a little sick of gels after a while, so ideally I don't want to just have 2 gels every hour for 8 hours straight. So since I am out of gels for tomorrow's long run, I am going to take the opportunity to try out a couple other carb sources that aren't really gels, that's a little more solid food, just to test it out, see how it is. It might be a good change of texture for race day if I incorporate the gels and real food. So what I've done to kind of prepare for tomorrow's run is I've made little baggies that has what I need per hour. I'm estimating my 22-mile run is going to take around 7 hours, 7 to 8, but hoping for more closer to 7. So what I'm going to be trying out is fruit strips and then mango, and then I have the electrolyte pill in here. Per each fruit strips, it's around 45 calories with 11 grams of carbs, and for a half a serving of mangoes, it's 65 grams of calories and 15.5 grams of carbs. It's not quite the numbers I need to reach, but in the effort of being fully transparent, I haven't hit 200 calories per hour in any of my training runs. I haven't quite broke it down how I am right now. That's why I'm using my long run tomorrow to test everything out so I can really narrow in my game plan. I do always carry fuel. I do always carry electrolytes, so I have been fueling. I just haven't been tracking it as strategically as I'm going to be for this run. I have 7 bags prepped and ready to go for tomorrow just to test it out, and then I will be also bringing a pickle juice to try. That's my plan during the run. For my pre-run fuel, what I've really been loving is a banana and peanut butter. So basically what I do is I open the banana, and then for every bite I put a little dollop of peanut butter. It's an elite combo. For the race day, I do plan on eating this in the parking lot when I arrive on site. I will eat something before I leave the house, so something I've been eating a lot before I run is I'll take this granola and I'll put it in a bowl, add some milk, kind of eat it like a cereal. So I'll do 1.5 servings, which gives me around 27 grams of carbs, not including the carbs I get from the milk, and it also gives me a little bit of protein to keep me a little fuller. This has been kind of my go-to this season. I do switch it up quite frequently. I do love a good egg sandwich. My first assistant, my husband made me an egg sandwich, and I just didn't fully have an appetite to really eat it beforehand. So I'm thinking this will be a little bit quicker and simpler to eat. So I might go ahead and try this for this race. So I'll eat this before I leave the house, this when I arrive, and then 15 minutes or so I will have GM1 Sport, which is going to provide 20 grams of carbs and 80 calories. When you're looking at your total calorie intake, you do include your pre-calories before the run. That first hour you're running, it's being fueled off of what you ate before. So then hour 2 is when I'll pull out my first baggie. That's my game plan for pre, and then my game plan for during the race. And then post race, I always try to have a protein shake waiting in the car for me to eat as soon as possible. Like I mentioned before, BPN is my go-to, and I get their whey. Right now, I have the milk and cookies flavor. It's not my favorite flavor, but I am gonna finish before I order more. So I am kind of like trying all the flavors to see which one I like most. I think so far my favorite one has been peanut butter. I'm in quite a peanut butter phase right now. So if you hadn't noticed, between my peanut butter granola and my peanut butter and banana, and then my favorite flavor of protein being peanut butter. I always try to make sure I have protein for that immediate after. The expo typically has snacks and stuff like pizza, so I'll probably get something after from there. And then my friends and I, we tend to like go out and eat and celebrate and refuel. As long as I get my protein in and then we go eat a real meal, I should be good to go. A couple other things to note about the Pikes Peak Marathon. They do require us to carry a jacket because the weather can change so quickly on the mountain. Since tomorrow's long run is going to be my race stimulation where I'm trying out the different fuels that I'll probably use, I'm also going to have to carry the water I need and my jacket. So I feel like my pack is going to be fairly heavy. I do run with a pack every time I do a longer run, and so I definitely am used to wearing my pack, but it's going to be filled with everything that I'll need on race day. Happy Sunday. So I just got back from my recovery run, and yesterday I did my 21-mile run. I mentioned I was going to be doing 22 miles. We did decide to turn around a half a mile early just because we were above tree line and the clouds were moving really quickly and there was expected weather to be coming. So we just didn't want to get caught up in the weather. But yeah, the mountain weather changes so quickly, so you really just don't want to risk it. So we ended at 21 miles, which is still a really good run. I did feel very good with my performance. I did feel like if I had to go 5 extra miles, my body could have handled that. So that is a really great sign for me for race day. So I'm happy about that. And then this morning, I felt a little sore. Nothing too crazy, but like obviously I did a pretty long effort yesterday, so I did feel a little bit of that today. Then I went on my recovery run and I didn't really feel sore during that, so that was a good sign. I figured I'd give you a little recap on my run and my feeling and how that went, and what I will take away for my race day. Okay, let's start with going through my pack and kind of reviewing like what I brought and what I actually ate. So we'll start with the water pack. So this bladder is 15 fluid ounces, and I do have water left over from yesterday. If I were to be following that recommendation of having 16 fluid ounces of water per hour, I did not meet that at all. Technically, since this bladder is 50 ounces, really it's only about 3 hours worth of water if I were to be drinking 16 ounces every hour. It's kind of a lot to me, but I don't know, I guess it's a good goal. I will say overall I do like my bladder. It fit nice in my pack. It didn't really feel like too heavy to be carrying it. The only thing I will change for race day is freezing some water in it so then it can kind of keep the water cool. When I was like taking sips out of my tube, since the air was cooler yesterday, the tube had cooler water, and then when I got to the pack water, it was warm, and I really just hate that. Could be why I wasn't drinking as much water as I should have been, but it was nice to have the bladder and it worked really well, and I don't really have any issues with it, so I will be using it for race day. My goal tends to be just carry what I need, and then I don't really have to stop at the aid stations. I will stop at the aid stations if necessary, but sometimes I get a little congested and I just want to keep moving and get around the people that are stopping. Then going over my food. So what's nice about how I separated out these baggies per hour, I really do have a visual of how much I ate. So I packed 7 bags because we were kind of estimating it to be 7 to 8 hours for us to go 22 miles, which we ended up only doing 21, but that's okay because we made a safety call. I don't like mango on the run. It's a good flavor, but the texture of the mango is just so chewy. I don't know if you can kind of tell on camera, but like you have to like yank it off. It's just too much chewing than what I want to be doing, and I do think having too much mango did kind of make me a little gassy. I did bring a bunch of mango just because I did run out of gels this week, so I do have to order that, and I will be putting that order in. I do plan on mostly using gels for race day. I just do want to bring something else that is a different texture because 26 miles is a long time, and it's not just a regular 26-mile marathon, like it's a trail run, and so time on feet is basically double a marathon. It's just a long time to only be consuming gels. Ideally, I would like to have something with a different texture, and I did enjoy the fruit strips. They were pretty yummy, easy to chew, so like I could kind of like chew real quick and swallow on the run. I do wish they had a little bit more carbs per bar. It's just for a change of texture, so I think it'll be a great complement to the gels I'll be bringing. So yeah, I did like the fruit strips, don't like the mangoes, and then the electrolyte pills, they were easy to take down, so I do like that. Overall, I did like the pills, and I will be taking the pills for race day just because I think it'll be an easy way to get enough salt with my gels. And it's not just salt, it's electrolytes, so your body does need like the whole electrolytes for hydration, and I do feel like I didn't need to like go pee a lot, so I do feel like I was actually hydrating with the water I was drinking and my electrolyte pills. I think that was a plus, so I will be doing the fruit strips and the electrolyte pills for race day with my gel. I brought my pickle shots, but then I was dumb and left them in the car, with my protein shake in the cooler bag, so I was really upset at myself for that. And I didn't remember until we were like a mile away from the car almost. That was a bummer. I was really looking forward to having the pickle juice on the trail. I did try one when I got back to the car just because I really wanted to taste it, and honestly, pickle juice after a run, there's just something about it that's so delicious for me. I'm definitely gonna be bringing pickle juice on race day. I'm doing a high altitude run next Saturday, so I'll be bringing a pickle juice so I can like test that out at altitude. And something that my friend and I kind of learned after we finished our run was at 11,000 feet, your digestion system starts to slow down. Your body just isn't accessing as much oxygen, so your systems are gonna slow down a little bit. So I'm gonna be a little more mindful of that for race day so I don't overwhelm it when I'm at high altitude. Try and fuel often and early. I feel like the run overall was pretty successful. And then I woke up this morning, I had like a little soreness, a little stiffness as you do when you wake up. That's to be expected, but then when I went on my recovery run, it didn't really translate over to my recovery run. Like I was able to get in the zone. I've officially finished my peak week mileage. I will begin dropping mileage down 20 to 30% moving forward until we get to race day. So I'm going to do a whole other video on tapering and how it's going to look for me. I'm excited. I feel really good. I did have, a low week, my 2 weekends since. I've had some really great workouts and some double days that I just felt good. I do have a little bit of a confidence gain back, so I'm happy about that. And now my goal is to get to race day, not injured. Fun fact, I got injured a week before the ascent last year, so I showed up and did it injured. I don't recommend it. I did end up taking quite a bit of time after the race off to recover from that, and really it affected me through the beginning of my training for this year. Lessons learned, no mango for me. Thank you guys so much for being here, for following along on this journey. Please leave any comments you have down below. Can't believe we're entering taper. Stay on the lookout for the video. I'll see you guys in the next video.